How much work do you have over the Christmas holidays at Cambridge? Well, in theory, little to nothing. In practice, more like a week or so's worth of work. That's the short answer to the question, and that answer is in part due to coronavirus impacting the way that we are assessed. I'm going to give you the long answer too. I will explain the work I had to do, but I'm going to do that by just showing you my work, as that's more interesting. Aside from the 2 history essays and a question sheet or 2, the project that I had to do over Christmas that I want to share with you was a project to design an elegant roof structure. In first year at Cambridge, we have 5 modules on top of the design studio work: construction, structures, environmental design, and history and theory, both pre and post 1800. This project here was for structures, so the idea was to create something that was architecturally interesting, but the focus was on demonstrating our understanding of structural principles. My project used arches, so its primary loading was in compression. If you hang a chain between 2 points, it forms what's called a catenary. That path that the hanging chain follows is significant because it follows the form of the perfect arch. In other words, if you take that shape and invert it, and then build an arch in that inverted shape, well, you end up with something that is extremely strong, so you can build it extremely thin, and it will still stand up. This principle also works for different shapes, so in order to design interesting arches for my project, I cut out interesting shapes of fabric, soaked them in plaster, and hung them upside down to dry in the shape of the perfect arch for that given material. Once dry, I could turn my arches back the right way up and put all 4 together to create my structure. This was all far too exciting of an idea for me, so naturally it all went completely wrong. The fabric wouldn't dry properly, so I couldn't actually turn it back up the right way altogether. Instead, I had to get a bit creative. I made an upside down photo studio and flipped the images in Photoshop instead. Since the arch is inherently in the right shape when it's hanging upside down, this thankfully didn't actually influence my design at all in the end, but we don't talk about it nonetheless. Going back to the question at the start of the video, term was 8 weeks long and I had 6 weeks over Christmas, so I literally had 3/4 of the length of a full term away from Cambridge. Irrespective of the time I did spend covering my hands in plaster and frustrating my family with weird bits of hanging fabric around the home, I still had a humongous amount of time outside of my work to enjoy the holiday. If you've got any questions about life at Cambridge, drop a comment or shoot me a DM on Insta at Callum Designs. Thank you for watching.